Hello everyone, I am a licensed attorney and today I'm going to give a legal analysis on the Hasan shocking his dog controversy. The reason I want to make this video is because I feel like lawyers on YouTube are rife with bias, going both ways politically. Legal Mind said he's the reason I made this video because he leans pretty staunchly to the right. He went on a pretty long tangent about how Antifa were sending ugly girls to where he lives in Thailand to accost him, I guess. He spoke about this at length, so if he was joking, he sure spent a lot of time on it. Plus, he deleted the video. You can still watch it on Nicholas DiOrio's channel. He reacts to it. And also, I didn't think his legal analysis on this subject in particular was very good. He was very conclusive. He didn't really go into factors and defenses. He just outright stated that Hasan is cruel to his animals, he's guilty of this, and you should report him to the proper authorities. Now, on the other end of this, there's Legal Eagle, who also frustrates me, particularly like right off the top of my head. He said that the Trump-Ukraine controversy that got Trump impeached was as bad, if not worse than Watergate, which is so absurd. Watergate had zero gray areas, whereas there was plenty of gray area with the Ukraine controversy. Now, my goal is to approach this as objectively as possible, which I know everybody has bias. It's very hard to completely eliminate that bias, but I want to leave my politics out of this and give you a proper legal analysis. Now, this is kind of a funny subject because Hasan and me are the same ethnicity. Hasan is Turkish, I am Turkish. Fun fact, his username, Hasan Abi, means Big Brother Hasan. Abi means Big Brother. Now, personally, I don't find Hasan to be a great representative of the Turkish community. But that will not factor into my analysis, as this analysis will be, spoilers, a little bit favorable to Hasan, though it depends on certain factors. Now, Hasan lives in LA, in California. Therefore, we have to look at California statutes in determining whether Hasan violated the law and should be charged with animal cruelty. Now, looking at the California Penal Code, the definition of cruelty to animals is a person who maliciously and intentionally maims, mutilates, tortures, or wounds a living animal, or maliciously and intentionally kills an animal. Now, the only part of this statute that could be applied to Hasan is the torture. But torture is a very strong word, and if having a shock collar alone and using it on your dog was enough to rise to the level of torture, well, you just would never see shock collars in California. However, does that mean that shock collars could never be used in a way that could be considered torture or animal cruelty? Of course they can be. Now, the question here is, did Hasan use his shock collar in a way that rises to the level of torture? Now, Hasan's use of the shock collar, and I want to be clear here, Hasan was absolutely using a shock collar. I know he denies it, but there's plenty of evidence now that he is in fact using a shock collar, so I'm just going to accept it as true, as everybody else should as well. His use of the shock collar was to keep his dog in place for the entire time he was streaming. Now, you can find this morally reprehensible, and it is in fact cruel, but on its own, it is not enough to say he is torturing that animal. What matters, the factors that matter, is what is happening before and after the dog is streaming. And this is where we go into Hasan's defense, which is that his dog gets plenty of activity before they're streaming and after. And if this is in fact true, then it is my opinion that this does not rise to that level of torture to where he would be guilty under the California Penal Code. Now, Legal Mindset does mention an ordinance in LA about shock collars. I tried to find this ordinance. I was not able to find it. So if it exists and I just am not finding it, then I apologize. Please put it in the comments and I will look into it. Anyway, that is my legal analysis. In conclusion, whether Hasan is guilty of animal cruelty depends on what's going on before and after that dog is on stream, and if he's lying, if that animal is forced to stay in place or the shock collar is being used way too excessively, then he is in fact guilty. But if he is not using it excessively and the dog is free to roam, then no, it does not rise to that level. Now, how Hasan treats his dog when he's off stream, we don't have a good idea yet, maybe something will come out. But until then, as things sit now, no, he is not guilty of animal cruelty. That does not mean he is unworthy of your scorn. So I'm not going to tell you that you should forgive him. What I'm going to tell you is the police are probably not going to show up to his $3 million mansion and arrest him.